Hello, I'm Chris Pappas from The Critical Listener, and today we're going to review the Sonos versus the MusicCast. Next to me I have a WX030 MusicCast and a Sonos Play 3. Both units are priced very similarly, $249, $299. This review is not to go in depth on any specific product. It's more to give my customers an overview of which version of whole house audio is better for them, MusicCast or Sonos. Now, the whole house audio system has grown exponentially with Denon's Hios, many other brands like Russ Sound trying to get into the whole house audio battlefield. But the truth is, these are the two best systems, and unfortunately, I'm going to tell you, without going to the very end, there is no winner. The winner of this contest is based on your specific needs. They both have big flaws. I know when people like to test Sonos and Yamaha, they like to tell you how wonderful the systems are, and every review you see is how good they are, except. There are no exceptions in a whole house audio. Either it works well, or it doesn't work well. And both of these systems have big flaws that you're going to want to be aware of. Give you a quick background though. Setup is extremely similar on both. You hit a connect button, you hit two buttons on the Sonos, one for the MusicCast. It's not a big deal. You go to your Wi-Fi settings in your iPad or your Android phone, etc. And the setup process is pretty simple. Big negative with the Yamaha is that you need to set up your whole house audio system for every single unit you have. So, for example, I set up a Sonos on my iPad. When I add Sonos app to my phone, it knows everything in my house, all 7 systems, all 7 rooms. The Yamaha does not. You set up the Yamaha on your iPad, you got to set up every single product on this phone. You have 4 kids, you have friends coming over, none of them can use it until they set everything up. So Sonos has a huge advantage in terms of setting up multiple devices. Cost is very similar. In fact, Yamaha seems almost to be following the Sonos model in terms of pricing. As we said earlier, $249 versus $299. They have a WX10 for $199. Play 1 has Sonos has a Play 1 for $199. There's a Sonos 5 for $499, and Yamaha has NX 600 speakers for $699. They both have play bars. Sonos has one, Yamaha has a few, and they will be adding MusicCast to more of these play bars in the future. Yamaha also has the advantage of multiple AV receivers and stereo receivers that have MusicCast built right in, so you don't have to buy anything extra. And since their pricing is already very comparable to Sony, Denon, Marantz AV receivers, you're really getting a bargain by getting the Yamaha unit. The Sonos also has a non-amplified version that connects to your receiver, and an amplified version where you can connect speakers directly to it. And Yamaha has the exact same things. They cost exactly the same. So Yamaha is definitely going after Sonos, and now the question is, which one are you going to want to use? Versatility. Sonos has significantly more versatility in terms of what streaming products it can stream. Yamaha, Pandora, Napster, and Spotify, as well as being able to stream off your own server. Sonos has all the same, plus Tidal, and you can go on and on, Deezer. They literally have probably 30 or 40 different streaming products. So if you're in the biggest categories, which most people use Napster, most people use Spotify, most people use Pandora, you're going to be safe with Yamaha. But if you're already streaming something from a smaller service, this is where Sonos is going to have your back. However, Yamaha adds a functionality that really can make and break Sonos completely, which is Bluetooth capability. And the reason it can make and break Sonos is that you can stream anything from your phone directly to your MusicCast product. And that's one area where Sonos is never going to be able to catch up. If you're using some very small, unknown streaming service, you can just get it on your phone, stream it through your MusicCast, and you're good to go. You're stuck with Sonos. That's just not going to happen. The other big advantage of having Bluetooth is that a lot of my customers have asked specifically for headphones for Sonos. They don't exist. They don't exist for the Yamaha, but because Yamaha has Bluetooth, you can buy Bluetooth-enabled headphones and simply stream directly to the headphones. And that is another big advantage of the Yamaha MusicCast. So it sounds so far between versatility versus Bluetooth that if you're not using Deezer or Tidal, you're going to want the Yamaha. But that's not necessarily true, because Sonos has big advantages in terms of search. When you search for a song, for an album, Sonos goes through every single service you have, your server, your NAS box, Tidal, Napster, you name it, and it finds it. You're done with Yamaha. Search functionality is limited on your own NAS box to simply scrolling, literally scrolling, like this, through all your songs. You can search on Napster only because Napster has a search built in, and you're only searching your Napster songs. You can search on Spotify only if you go to Spotify and search specifically on Spotify. So if you're looking for a specific song, or if you're looking for a specific playlist even, you're not going to do this with MusicCast. For people with small music collections who don't do much and they just love Pandora, that might be fine. But for people with large music collections, you're not going to want to do that, and Sonos wins. So now it sounds like you want to get a Sonos, but you don't. Because Sonos has some big flaws other than just not being able to use Bluetooth. One is something we'll show you right here. It is the ability to add large playlists. And when you have a large playlist, you'll want to play it. And if you can see this, Sonos is trying to add a bunch of songs to its queue. It will fail. And it will fail. And the reason it will fail is because the queue is so large. Once you get over 1,000 songs in your queue, you'll often get a error 1002, which we haven't gotten yet, but we should get it in about 10 more seconds. And the reason for this is that Sonos is trying to add every single song into a queue and then start playing them. And there's a timeout period where it just can't add enough before its own built-in timeout, or if it's a timeout through Napster, or if it's a timeout through Spotify. They won't exactly say what's causing the issue, but they are using their own server, so they're trying to add everything into a queue and then start playing something, and it fails. And it fails way too often. There are some rare instances you can get it to work. Maybe if their servers aren't doing anything that day or that moment in time, and you got a lot of free bandwidth coming through. But other than that, it will fail. MusicCast works and it doesn't work. Let me explain that. MusicCast does something kind of smart. They don't try to add 1,000, 2,000, or 5,000 songs into your queue. They go from this spot where you clicked on, the first song, be it in the playlist or the 500th song in the playlist, and then they add the next 200 songs. Now the reason that's not such a bad way of doing things is that 200 songs is going to give you about 12 to 13 hours of music. And most people really aren't planning on listening for that long. So it works very well. The only thing I wish MusicCast would do a little bit differently is not add the next 200. It'd be nice if it was a random 200 songs, because I know if I click from letter L, it's going to add from L through M, and then it's going to be done. I'm not going to have any songs past with words that start with Z or A. So it'd be nice if it was random. Other than that, though, it works pretty well. It adds 200. It's easy to add more songs to your queue. It's not limited to 200 by any means. So large playlists, you're going to want to be with the Sonos. And Yamaha, however, has an issue specifically with Napster that we've found. And the specific issue with Napster is rare in the sense that It doesn't happen a lot, but when it happens, it's quite annoying. It will just stop playing. It will stop sometimes after 3 minutes, and then it'll go for 5 more hours without a problem. Or it can stop 5 times in the next 10 minutes. And that is quite frustrating. But then again, you can turn around the next day and it runs great. It's not an issue with the Wi-Fi. It's not an issue when you're directly connected to your network, because we've had 3 different MusicCast systems running, one running Pandora, one running Spotify, and one running Napster, and only the one running Napster stops. And even though the one running Napster is directly connected to the router, as one other one is, it's the only issue is with Napster over and over and over again. Which brings us to another advantage of Sonos, which is technical support. Call Sonos with a problem, like your cue's not adding, and while they might not be able to fix the problem, you will be talking to someone in probably less than 5 minutes. We sent 3 emails to Yamaha support as a dealer asking for help with this Napster issue. The third email from Yamaha was basically, could you please contact support directly at their phone number? 3 attempts over the course of a week at different times. We waited 90 minutes on the phone before we hung up the phone. Now, we don't know how long it would have taken to actually get service. There's no leave a phone number and they'll call you back option like Sonos has. This is a big issue with Yamaha. Their service is close to terrible, if not inexistent, because if you can't get through to someone, what's the point? So we have to give a big thumbs up to Sonos for support. Right now, we can sum up the 2 units as follows. If Sonos can add Bluetooth streaming and fix their large queue issue, they are hands down the best whole house audio system you're ever going to get. If Yamaha can get a little good technical support going, fix their issue with Napster, be able to add large queues either completely or, say, randomly add 200 songs, and as well, maybe beef up their ability to stream Napster and other streaming services at a high resolution. Something Sonos can do with Napster. They can stream up to, I believe it's 384 bits per second, whereas you're stuck at 44 with the Yamaha MusicCast. Then MusicCast would win hands down. Unfortunately, both these systems have big problems. You are outside on your patio, you have a big party outside, you try to add a nice big queue that's going to last, say, 7 hours, you got about, 400 songs there. It might work, it should work. If you have a giant queue, you want to add 3,000 songs, you're dead in the water. So that's not fun using a system like that. And also, Sonos added a little feature now where if you just touch a song, it starts playing. They think it's a good idea. It's a terrible idea. Customers come over all the time and they just want to add a song to the queue or want to make that song play next. In the past, if you clicked the song, a little menu would come up and you could choose to either play now, play next, or add to queue. Now you touch that song and let your finger off, all of a sudden your song just changed and it's the song you just clicked on that's playing. Quite frustrating when you have a bunch of people outside all playing with your iPad trying to add songs to the queue, and of course someone just touches a song and it starts playing and it screws up the queue the other people were waiting for. MusicCast doesn't have that problem. You touch a song, it doesn't do anything, you hold your finger down on the song, then you have the choices come up like Sonos used to have. Another big negative of Sonos is no headphone jacks. We told you before you can get away with that with Bluetooth. The only way you're going to listen to headphones through the Sonos is by connecting a Sonos Connect non-amplified version into a amplifier that has a headphone jack. However, with Yamaha, you can use Bluetooth or you can do it the way Sonos does, which is a non-amplified, I think theirs is called the WX050 and C50. And that one will give you the direct connection into an amplifier and you can listen to it that way. The truth is, neither of these products really meet the needs of today's consumers. Voice control can be done through Amazon's Echo quite easily through MusicCast by setting it up as a Bluetooth device. Negative with Sonos is that they are supposedly working on such a feature, not through Bluetooth, but through something else, through Echo. But because they don't have Bluetooth built in, it really puts them at a disadvantage. So if you want to have a little Echo Dot sitting next to your MusicCast product, you can tell Echo to start playing a certain song off of Prime, and even though MusicCast doesn't have Prime because you're Bluetooth connected, you're running and you're playing without a problem at all. Sonos, there are supposedly some types of workarounds. You can get MusicCast, you can get Echo to work on your Sonos product, but you probably better be pretty computer literate to figure out how to make this work, and we're not even sure how effective it is in the sense that, does it always work? Is it perfect? Are there any glitches, problems, etc.? That type of things. So I'd be wary of that fix or workaround, if you want to call it that. Probably doesn't work very well at all. If it does work well, that's great. Post on this YouTube video. And if there's not more than 3 steps, maybe a lot of Sonos users will use it. But the beauty of Sonos is its simplicity and creating a complicated process to get something to work, which works really easily with the MusicCast, is probably not the way most Sonos users want to use their systems. So everything being said, the next thing is sound quality. Truth is, again, they're pretty limited. The WX030 here and the Sonos Play 3 similarly priced, sound quite similar to each other. If we can play a track through the Sonos, it's from Rebecca Pigeon, and we'll try to crank that up.
There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a red rose up in Spanish Harlem. There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, in Spanish Harlem. She is a special one. She's never seen this.
So that was Rebecca Pigeon with Spanish Harlem. And the Sonos Play 3 does cost $50 more, and it does have a little bit better bass. The WX030 though holds its own pretty well against it. Most people buying these are not here for critical listening. You might want to buy a better amplifier, speakers, and run a Connect into that or a WXC50 for your purposes. So that's the end of our review of MusicCast versus Sonos. The solution for you is specific to your needs. There is no outright winner. For most people, we probably bet Sonos is a better deal. For people who really want to listen to headphones, Bluetooth, other people come over and play their Bluetooth through your speakers. If you don't have AirPlay does work on the Sonos, but say it's Bluetooth through an Android, you're going to be better off with the MusicCast. There is no best solution, unfortunately. So we can only tell you that hopefully Sonos and Yamaha, through competition, continue to improve their software. Specifically, Yamaha needs search, and Sonos needs Bluetooth. We think search is going to be easier to implement for Yamaha than Bluetooth because it's a product, it's a device that needs to be added to the product. It's not a download. You can't do a firmware update and all of a sudden have Bluetooth on your system. So that could be a problem, except if you're willing to buy new equipment from Sonos. Overall, a year from now, things could be totally different. We'll come back December 30th, 2017, if there are significant changes between these two products. But for now, December 30th, 2016, this is our current review. Thank you, and have a good day.